people and constantly being misgendered, especially in a school setting, and why teachers should start to unlearn their transphobic implicit bias. Is bias? Hmm. First off, before I start, I gotta say this. There is no correct way to be trans. You don't have to bind, you don't have to tuck, you don't have to make yourself look like a cis man or woman. You just have to be like, yeah, I'm trans. These are my pronouns. Hello. Also, it doesn't matter how big or small your gender dysphoria is. It's valid. Like, if you're AMAB and you don't care about gender or whatever, but you get really happy when someone calls you a girl, maybe you're trans, and that's valid. Just because you don't have crippling dysphoria doesn't make you any less valid. Now getting into transphobia in schools. Teachers have to learn that just because a trans student isn't cis-passing doesn't make it okay to misgender them. Now, yes, there is that small moment in time when you come out and everyone starts getting into the habit of using a student's correct pronouns and name, and sometimes they may slip up, and that's okay. But there's a difference of 2 weeks of adjusting to new pronouns and name, and sometimes slipping up, compared to misgendering a trans student that's been out for months, sometimes years, but they don't look cis, so you end up still misgendering them. As a trans student, I find it weird that I've been out for almost a year, maybe 2, I don't know, yet I still get misgendered at least once a week by teachers. And that has to change. And I know for a fact, if I was cis-passing, I wouldn't be misgendered. And this happens at every school too. Teachers constantly misgender non-passing trans students. Teachers should start looking deep into themselves and think, why do I misgender my trans students? And think of why they mostly misgender the trans students who don't look cis or who don't make an effort to pass. It's not enough to just be like, trans rights, when you clearly don't hold that idea when it's not a cis-passing trans person. This goes for real life too. The main problem of this is literally society and what we're taught about gender. Because if you have boobs, then you're not a man, so I'm gonna call you she, her. And that has to change, especially in school settings, because trans comes in many different shapes and forms and looks. If a teacher is just really bad at remembering pronouns, I mean, they probably aren't since they can remember all their cis students' pronouns, but whatever. Then they could have little stickers with pronouns on them. Or be like, hey everyone, write down on this paper what your pronouns are and have it in front of you, please. Once again, we want to need to do this if teachers and society as a whole unlearn the I will only respect your pronouns and name if you look cis mindset. And most people don't even realize they have this mindset. Especially, even trans people have this mindset too, and we gotta change it, because once again, there is no correct way to look trans. There is no way to look cis, quote unquote, either, besides if you go off society standards. And that's okay if you want to look cis, you know? Like, that's, like, I do, you know? But anyway, I guess the mindset is implicit bias. We have to start holding teachers responsible for when they mess up a student's pronoun/name. That's it. Post, retweet, like, upvote.